Hi, this is Dr. Christy Blanco, nurse practitioner. I am a board certified women's health nurse practitioner. So what we're going to be talking about today is bleeding too much during a period. The definition of bleeding too much is greater than 80 cc's during a period. I talk to a lot of women, and some women tell me they bleed a lot, and when I inquire a little bit more, it turns out they don't really bleed much. It's pretty much a normal amount. Sometimes some women will tell me they don't really bleed much. They bleed fine, but when I inquire, they are bleeding too much. So exactly what is it? So what I have here is, first of all, I have a pad. I have a pad with wings, and it's considered an overnight, and it is an ultra thin overnight pad, okay? And if you can see that, it would be, it'd be pretty, it can usually hold a lot. I'm also gonna have a tampon, and so the tampon that we're using is it's a super strength. So exactly how much is too much blood? I also have water, and in here it's got about 100 cc's, and remember the definition of too much blood is 80 cc's. It does have my daughter's paint, and so that's it, I use that. I have a syringe, and it's a 10 cc syringe. So I'm gonna fill this up with 10 cc's so we can get an idea how much blood can this hold. So I always wanna know how much are you saturating before you change your pad? That's what I wanna know. So this can obviously hold quite a bit. I would suspect, though, most women would probably change about this because sometimes they don't feel really good with that. But if it's overnight, sometimes it can be a little bit more. So I filled up another syringe of 10 cc's. So let's just go ahead and put this to get an idea how much. All right, so I think that this could be fair. This is what a lot of women might have overnight. But then throughout the day, do you get this, and do you have to change this out at least 4 times? I know if that you're changing this amount out at least 4 times, then we're probably equaling greater than 80 cc's, okay? But it can obviously take quite a bit. How about a tampon? How much can that take? And this is 80 cc's. Okay, 80 cc's is too much. All right, so this is 10 cc's that I'm already shooting out. So this is a tampon, a super tampon. How much can that hold before it pretty much starts overflowing? So as you can tell, this expands, and this is actually quite, this doesn't really quite hold as much. I think most women would need to change out by then. So it can hold about maybe a little bit more than 10 cc's, probably about 15 cc's for a tampon, for a super size. So a lot of times I wanna know, is it a regular tampon or is it a super tampon? Because I know a super tampon is only gonna hold maybe about 15 cc's. This has 10 cc's. Let's just go ahead and do 5, just so we can get an idea. So this is 5. And there we go. That's gonna be, maybe it can handle just a little bit more before it starts to overflow, but not much more than that. So I know that if a woman is changing a supersized tampon, and she's changing it probably, and this is if she's pretty much changing it and it's almost overflowing or it's pretty much saturated, this is holding about 15 cc's, so it's under 20 cc's. She needs to be changing it out at least 5 times throughout her period or through her cycle for me to kind of define her as having too much blood. So what if somebody does have too much blood? We're just gonna evaluate why. Maybe a pelvic ultrasound, check some blood work. Do they have anemia? That's what we're gonna evaluate. And a lot of times the treatment can be birth control pills. It can be a lot of different options, but sometimes we wanna figure out the cause. So I hope that this helps you realize, am I bleeding too much? Or maybe the amount of bleeding that I'm having is normal. Thank you.